if someone is watching you who knows you or not.
The fact that a lot of people are watching this and a lot of people are commenting in the same time of it because there's a live chat going on and they say, hey, yeah, good, or clap, 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 or you see that they drift away in what they talk and that they're absolutely not interested in what we're doing in the moment did make some change, it did make some impact.
Actually, it made the recording possible only because it was a new aspect for the band, a new motivation to do the record at all.
Even I like all the anarchist qualities of this band, there was much more discipline than usually. Once you know that you're broadcasting, you have to be there and you have to be able to work. So we said they'll broadcast from 2 to 6 and or whatever times we had, and this time we did work, and we worked much more concentrated and much more effectively than what we would usually do.
During working, you forget about the webcams completely, but still, in the back of your mind, you always have that you have to do something. It's a bit of a show every time too. I mean, you have to offer something to the supporters. So, although you don't think about it while you're doing it, but still, it's always there, and it pushed the whole thing forward a lot.
It hasn't changed much on how we work in our field of work. We still, analyze and produce and pretty much the same way. It has changed a bit how we treat each other while the camera is running. You don't as easily start fights or say stupid things while there's a couple of hundred people watching. You start to forget that too. I mean, we were more cautious and better prepared on, I think even to the extent on how we look, like in the first couple of months,
I have no problem with that because these cameras are that small, so there's not too much respect for the camera because you don't recognize that there is a camera.
It's like, if you're being monitored by, say, the authorities, in the beginning you worry about it, hey, they know everything I do, they know all the drugs I take, But then after a while, you forget about it, and that's basically the most worrying fact about it, that you, that you just like block out this very important part, that somebody is watching you while you do these things.
Rot, grün, gelb, schwarz, Rost, braun, tot, rot, gold, farbenschwarz ist farbenfroh. Funkelnagelneu ist nichts mehr. Ich hab mein Vokabelheft verloren. Wo ist der Schlüssel? Wo ist mein Hut? Ich gehe jetzt.
The funny thing is that the piece Seltener Vogel, we played in the earliest session in August. I would have shelved it. I would have, after 2 attempts doing it and not being happy with it, I would have thrown it away. But the supporters kept insisting and saying, you should, this is really great and you should do something, etc., that it ended up to be recorded. Same story goes for Der Weg ins Freie, which I have thrown away already, and it was the insistence of the supporters that made me rethink it. And I think, until we actually started recording it again.
It was interesting, and it still is interesting to meet these people by these means. Usually you talk to, drunken people in the backstage room after a show, which is fine, I enjoy that. But, there's some really intelligent and worthwhile people out there that we have correspondence with by these means, and this is something that usually wouldn't happen, the quality, the standards, the niveau of the communication is a lot higher than it would be in a backstage room or via usual fan mail or something like that.
What's going on in the forum I found interesting I admire the intelligence of our fans. These threads are fairly intelligent and they are There are a lot of good stuff in there. And B, I like it that we have not put any censoring mechanisms in there, and they still seem to be self-regulating.
But basically this whole interchange, the whole correspondence with the people that actually love the stuff you do, you know, not some paid journalist, you know, who is supposed to come up with something insulting, you know, has helped a lot.
Usually Neubauten need about 2 years to make a record. It usually means we meet at some time, we say, okay, we're going to go to a studio for 2 weeks, and there we just hammer away and do this and do that, and end up with like 15 unfinished pieces, of which I take ideas at home, and then we spend 6 months not doing anything, and I think about it, and then we go back to the studio and throw half of it away and start the other half anew, and so on.
I do what I always do. I collect, say, metal stuff from the shops or from the junkyard or from some other places, and try to make them find them as transportable as always, so they can work on stage as instruments and look good.
Life on other planets is difficult. 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 So difficult.
Ich fand das eigentlich ganz gut, dass sie so ganz leise im Hard. I don't hardly ever write anything about anything. But of course my thoughts find their ways into songs in different ways.
1, 2. Hast du vergessen anzumachen oder was?
It's quite interwoven in working here on this particular record. I take particular ideas, which could be lyrical ideas as well as ideas in the true sense of the word, and I intertwine them with other ideas and see that they become a fairly complex network for me to start throwing things to it. So then I hope they're going to stick on it after a while and maybe form a particular pattern that I can follow and hang a more complex thought on it. That is, and once that is working, that worked. We are in the middle of mixing. That worked quite well, in as much as I can see that particular pieces of this puzzle fall together for me now, and I can see the larger picture. I wake up in the morning with solutions for text. Somehow something thinks within me even when I'm asleep. So I wake up, I have half a solution, and then I usually have to get up out of bed and write down what my thought was. Good lyrics do write themselves, but you can't force them. You know, bad lyrics need a lot of doctoring, and the doctoring doesn't help. That's my experience about lyrics.
This production works a lot with winds, and that's why we are hiring 3 compressors so that we can blow air into any objects. And so when we're doing that with pipes, with plastic pipes, we were just moving the valve in front of the object. So I thought the other way around, one could have a moving object and hold the nozzle in front of that.
The direction that I started on was that I wanted to do more things with compressors, with air, with the general idea of pneuma,